Welcome to what? This is the Festive Tech holiday presentation. I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong meeting. Let me make a couple quick adjustments. Welcome everybody to my Festive Tech Calendar 2021 presentation. What? The background isn't moving? Well, how do I fix that? It's supposed to be snowing. I'm more familiar with heat and fire than snow. How do I make it snow? Go to the next slide. Oh, thank you. Welcome everyone to the Festive Tech Calendar 2021. Hey everyone, welcome to the Festive Tech Calendar 2021 presentation. How did I make it snow? How can I write on my slides? How did I make myself a comic instead of a regular webcam persona? This and so much more are covered in this Festive Tech Calendar presentation on Use Your Superpowers in Microsoft Teams and PowerPoint. Well, here's something new in the world of animation. It looks like I'm in a Pixar movie. And this is just one of the things you'll learn throughout this presentation. We're going to start with PowerPoint features and one of my favorites, which is Summary Zoom. The ability to take multiple slides and tell a story in any order that your audience or you feel might be beneficial to them. We've all sat through a presentation where the presenter goes to their first point and their second point and their third point. And at about that point, you are pointed out. You don't want to see any more lists. You don't want to see any more bullet points. You don't want to see any more slides in order. And you might need to be re-engaged. Well, that's what Summary Zoom allows you to do. Let's take a look at what it looks like. Summary Zoom allows you to go to all of the different slides in your presentation, like Reorder Objects, Translation, Alt Text, Subtitles. We can see I have a Rehearse with Coach besides this Summary Zoom portion of the presentation. But when you think about it, does it really matter which order I present these topics in? They're not building upon each other. They're independent tips in PowerPoint. So why not present them in an order that might be different? Just change it up for yourself or ask your audience. What would you like to learn about next? Alt text in PowerPoint, subtitles, the ability to rehearse your presentation ahead of time and get real-time feedback, including body language. What do you want to hear about? Ask your audience. And what Summary Zoom does is takes all of those slides and builds thumbnails that allow you to navigate to those topics and then back to the summary very quickly and easily. Pretty cool. Next is real-time translation in PowerPoint. And my friend Magdalena has come up with a really interesting musical way to describe how to do this in PowerPoint.
traducción en tiempo real ayuda a los presentadores y audiencias a derribar las barreras lingüísticas. También es útil para las personas con dificultades auditivas o sorderas.
Hey, well, look at that. I figured out how to grow hair. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Right now, let's talk about reordering objects in Microsoft PowerPoint for the PC or for the Mac, whichever version you're using. I'm presenting from a PC, but you can see here I have one of my favorite features in the Mac version of PowerPoint. This has been around for many, many versions. And many of us, I was full-time at Microsoft the first time I saw this. First question we all asked, when will we have this feature, this visualization on the PC? And I still haven't seen it to this day. On a Mac, you can go to your Arrange menu and Reorder Objects. And you can see that I have a text title. I have some text at the bottom of the slide. And then we also have the animation of the snow and the removal of the background. We'll talk about a lot of that later. But what I can do with reordering objects is make it very visual in taking maybe summary zoom, the title, and moving that layer to the top so that I can click on it and change the title of the slide. You can see Festive TechCalendar is the top layer here. And then the graphic, and then the summary zoom, and finally my video. If I want to be able to click at the top on summary zoom and select it, all I have to do is. So let's take a look at what that looks like on the PC. When I have my PC, I can see my video 2 is here. My context placeholder is here for my layer. And then my other video, video 3, which is the snow falling, is back here. My reorder object is title 1. And I can move that up so that it's a layer that I can actually click on at the very top. But in a Mac, that is just moving the different layers around. Pretty neat either way, whichever way you go about it. A bunch of you are probably wondering how I keep on changing my video. You can see that I'm in the same place, I'm wearing the same shirt, but my face and my expression will be different with each of these slides. The next topic we're going to cover is alt text before we get to all the video trickery that we've been using here in PowerPoint. Alt text is for images. So if I wanted to put an image that described the raccoon and the Christmas tree and the evergreens that are in this slide, and even this falling snow, alt text would be one way to do that. Let's take a look. Here you can see the same slides that I showed you before of the summary zoom. And the different layers have a alt text at the bottom that says a screenshot of a video game. You can see that that was automatically pulled in from Microsoft PowerPoint. I can go ahead and edit that description so that it's more accurate, because this isn't a video game, even though it might look like one with me in it. So here I've edited the alt text to say it's a screenshot of Microsoft PowerPoint Reorder Objects on Mac OS. The visualization under the range of Reorder Objects is what this screen is depicting. And I can save that so that anybody with low vision or that needs that alt text read and verbalized to them in an auditorial or an auditory way can get that information from this slide. Pretty neat. Next, like that video of the person in front of the judge that turned into a cat, let's go ahead and show you subtitles in the slideshow menu on the ribbon in PowerPoint. Okay, here we go. Decide if the captions are something you want over your slides or under your slides. These are both choices within the subtitling under the slideshow ribbon in PowerPoint for both Mac and PC. So you decide where the captions go and whether they're overlaid on the bottom of your slide, where you might have graphics like on this one, or whether your slides are kind of condensed and there's a blank area at the bottom, similar to the bands that I have on a widescreen monitor or a widescreen presentation on a regular aspect monitor. Here's another superpower that you have with PowerPoint on your computer, Mac or PC. Rehearse with Coach is a feature that Microsoft worked with Toastmasters International on. And Rehearse with Coach brings the power of artificial intelligence right into the PowerPoint that you use every day. And it's now available in both the web version, the full application, and even the mobile version of PowerPoint. So you can rehearse and become a superhero and leverage that superpower wherever you practice your presentation. Let's see how. What we can do first is from the slideshow menu, choose Rehearse with Coach. And Rehearse with Coach will bring up the capabilities to listen to the words that I choose, the pace, and even the pitch that I speak with. So it looks for the ups and the downs in your speech pattern, the speed that you communicate in, as well as whether you're reading your slides or coming up with unique ways to describe what's on them. In this case, the Start Rehearsing shows up in the lower right, and I can tell it whether to show me feedback immediately. And it picks up crutch words like ah, that I might be saying while I'm speaking. There's also a new feature which allows you to look for body language and have that evaluated through artificial intelligence as well. Here's some examples. So let's look at the body language in the browser version of PowerPoint. Here I am in the browser version of Microsoft PowerPoint. And you can see that the arrow to the right of Rehearse with Coach has a body language new feature that I can turn on and get feedback on my body language. Same thing we had, you have to give it permission to your microphone because it's listening, and now with body language, your camera. And it makes sure that you are facing the camera while you are practicing. It gives you that feedback of, hey, you're looking down at your notes, or you're looking off to maybe somebody else, or not looking at the webcam, not looking at your audience. It looks for those crutch words. If I say ah, or other types of crutch words, so, like, very, it picks those up in your speech and brings them to your attention. Here's another example that I found of actually, really, all sorts of crutch words that we use and don't need to be there in the spoken words we choose to use. And then the summary of the results. It can look for repetitive language, fillers that you're using, your pace, as well as your pitch over time. The body language gives you that indication of whether you are engaging your audience and looking at your camera. And then it also looks for inclusive language. If you have a habit of saying guys when you're speaking to both men and women, both genders or all genders, maybe choose words like everyone or everybody instead of guys, which implies that there are only males in your audience. For many, they don't even think about it. I've heard females use guys when they're speaking. But if you have one person in that audience that wishes you had used some other term to refer to the collective, why not choose it? Scott Hanselman does a great job of saying, "Hey friends," in his videos. And it didn't go unnoticed by me and many others. I decided to put some shades on because that snow is really bright on the horizon. Now let's take a look at removing backgrounds. And Magdalena again is going to show us how to remove the background in the slides we're actually looking at. And then from the insert menu, you can insert videos from online stock videos. I just searched for snow and found this wonderful video that plays over and over in the background of this slide. Magdalena, take it away. Well, hello everybody. Now let's talk about how I keep on changing my video in PowerPoint. And the best way to do that, because it's a PC-based application that I installed and that I'm using in PowerPoint, is with the record screen function that's right inside the PowerPoint you know and love under your insert menu. Let's take a look. Okay, here we are in PowerPoint. You can see that I'm showing the ribbon, and if I click on the insert menu, over to the far right is screen recording. Because I'm already screen recording, it's grayed out. Finally, here is how I've been doing all those crazy edits with my video. I'm using the Snap camera, which replaces your webcam in a program like PowerPoint. So you just point it to the Snap camera, and then look at all these crazy filters that we've been using. Here's that comics one that we started with. The cartoon style that makes me look like I'm in a Pixar movie. The anime style that we used. And then I also did the devious cat. And once you raise your eyebrows, you turn into a cat, and I don't think there's an easy way to turn it back. That's what happened in that video that's gone viral on YouTube. This is Snap Camera, and you can use it on your PC or your Mac with things like PowerPoint as well as Microsoft Teams. Well, hello there. Welcome back. What can you do with design ideas in PowerPoint? You can come up with starting your presentation with a video background. You can use designs that come and fit into the words that you use on slides. Design Ideas is new to PowerPoint, fairly new, and it's really, really cool. Similar to this next Snap Camera filter that I'm using here that stretches and makes me look like I'm at a fun house. To struggle with in PowerPoint was the capability for PowerPoint to give me, the presenter, a presenter view with timers and previews of the next slide, and even access to my presentation notes while I'm presenting. Well, look no further. Artificial intelligence makes an intelligent decision about which monitor, if you have multiple monitors hooked up or a screen hooked up, might be the monitor that you're presenting from, and then it automatically splits and shows a presenter view to you as the presenter. There's also a swap displays if that artificial intelligence gets the choices mixed up. Let's take a look at it right now. Here is the view of presenter view on my Mac. On the screenshot I took here, I didn't have dual screens hooked up, so it just says use slideshow. But in the same place that it says that, it would have a swap displays choice if I had two monitors or a screen that I was presenting to. If the presenter view gets the choice of which one's for you, the presenter, and which one's for your audience, you can use that swap displays to reverse them. It's pretty easy to use. What else can you do on your Mac? You would get the timing in the upper left. So you can see how long you've been presenting, depending on how many slides you have. You get a preview at the bottom of all the slides, as well as, if you're not at the end of your slideshow, a preview of the next slide, and then you also get all your slide notes. You can see here that PowerPoint is also listening and doing that subtitle or real-time translation, depending on how I have it configured, right there for me. We'll also take a look now at some of the unique capabilities that the Windows version of the automatic presenter view gives you. Here we go with a slide that I put together in a PowerPoint based on the Together mode feature in Microsoft Teams. Another one of those just really neat, engaging ways to bring your audience closer together. You can see here under display settings, I have that swap presenter view and slideshow. So if it got it wrong, I can flip it real easily. I can see what's going to happen over here on the right with my next slide. I can even change the size of those slides. If I need to maybe read text on the next slide, I have my notes available. And then all of these features are available to me as the presenter. Have you ever sat through a presentation and wished the presenter knew that they can zoom in when they say, I know you can't see this, but at the top of the screen it says your microphone is muted. Or to the right is a list of participants. Watch what happens when I zoom in to this slide. The audience sees that the microphone is muted, and I can then move around in a zoomed in fashion to call their attention to different areas and then zoom back out once I'm finished. I can also black out the screen to get my audience's attention. Look at all of my slides in the slide deck and maybe fast forward to one so that my audience sees this one instead of the entire slide deck, or this one. And then I can see my next slide coming up and any notes that accompany it. Really powerful features, including laser pointers, pens for writing, highlighters, and changing your ink color in the presenter view for the PC. Showing you a couple different ways that I can draw right on my slides. Down here in the left, I have the ability to change my pen color. So if I want to go with like a cyan, I can do so. And right down in the left, I can change back to like a dark blue or a navy pen. And lots of different things that I can do with drawing in PowerPoint. We'll look at some of those features next. What can I do with the draw? Right up on the ribbon, I can change my color. And on the ribbon, I can also do ink to text, ink to shape, or even ink to math. This is the screen on a Mac, but I have something very similar on the PC that I'll show you next. So here we are sitting in our PowerPoint. Maybe I want to show what blue and navy and red the words look like. You can see that I have ink to text. What I can do there is lasso my text and see how well it does in translating it. Not terribly bad. It missed my O or A and thought it was an O, but I can fix that quickly and easily. I feel like I need to introduce this one because this is what I've been doing with almost every slide in this PowerPoint so far. I've gone to the slideshow menu and I've chosen to record the slideshow. I can include the video that you see. After I produce it, I can move the video around and do effects with the video. We've seen how the snap camera allows me to change the effect that you're seeing through that camera. And then it also puts together any visual that I'm using, like when I was writing on the slides. That appears real time, ink to text. And ink playback is built into this feature. And it also moves through the PowerPoint at the same pace that I presented it at. Really cool feature, super helpful. Well, you can see my slide is a little bit off here, and that is because the different layers have been moved around. So it looks like the cliff for the snow and my raccoon and the evergreens are kind of just out in the middle of my slide. But this one is about the morph transition. So let's take a look at what that looks like next. Morph transition you just saw in the slide changing. It took the word morph and it decided where that was on the previous slide and morphed it into where it appears on this slide. It wasn't far away, but if it's in a different area of the screen, you see that transition. And you can see here on the Mac, Morph works on PC or Mac. It does either objects, words, or even characters between one slide and another. And then another feature that lets you use your superpowers in Microsoft PowerPoint, comments for others. You can put these right into a PowerPoint to draw the attention to a colleague or somebody else for comments or to finish something up. You can see here that I'm on slide 25 of my presentation, comments for others, and the comment knows that I'm Dan Ray, and maybe I want to bring this to Magdalena's attention. Hey, we've got one more video we want to include, or really like this slide, could we change the title? Whatever my comment might be can be found, and I can even mention other people to get their attention so they don't only see the content, but know that it's actionable by them as opposed to just a comment and not sure who on the team it is directed to. Hopefully you know by now, Microsoft PowerPoint has a built-in video editor. I can do screen capture with PowerPoint. I can actually trim that video and have fade in and fade out on the Mac or PC with the video editor. So here's an example of the video editor with the snow that's falling in the background. It's pretty consistent video, but you can see that I can change the duration of the video and where it starts and stops. So if I bring in a video clip and maybe I don't have 3 minutes to show the whole video clip, I could splice in to exactly the portion of the video that I want to play during my PowerPoint presentation. Super powerful, so that you don't have to edit the video and then bring the edited video back into PowerPoint. You can just make your changes right in PowerPoint itself. You can also do fades and control the volume here in it, and even loop until stopped. All features in the video editing and playback in Microsoft PowerPoint for PC or for Mac.